have a 138 as well.
Dare Media Group is the home of these online radio stations: Radio X Gold, Radio X Country, 6RXM Radio X Magic, and Dare Talk Radio. Find out more at daremediagroup.com.au.
Hello and welcome to everybody in Australia on Radio X. We're glad to be with you, I guess, this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you are. This is the Sportcat Show. Me and Harley here. Have a great show lined up for you tonight. How are you, Harley?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Well, we had asked previously for a guest that had been on the show, and he's graciously agreed to come back. He's a content creator
from my neck of the woods.
Yeah, from your hood. And he's going to be here to talk to us some more about his adventures in stealth camping. And hello there, Northwest Wind. Sam, how are you?
Hey, guys. I'm good. I've been better, but I'm doing okay, I suppose. How about you?
Pretty good. Trying really hard to run a show.
Yeah, I hear you. Thanks for having me back, though. Happy to come back anytime, like I said.
Oh, dude, we love having you here. And
conversations are interesting with you, so why wouldn't we?
Yeah, I watched your last two videos, and they weren't your typical go hide in a dumpster or on a roof or something. You went in the woods and for a change.
Yeah,
Chris.
Yeah, and it didn't necessarily go too well. Sorry, I'm pulling up the chat myself so I can follow along. Hello, everybody that's here. I went to look at I have a series on my channel, just property tours. I've been looking to buy some property on the Allegheny River in Western PA for years. I can finally afford to pay a loan now. So I can't afford it, but I can afford to take a loan out, which is fine. I guess 30 years, hopefully I'm still alive. It'll be paid off and I'll be like 70. But this was a property that I looked at back in like August or September, and they lowered the price by over half to meet my offer, which I thought was strange because I didn't want the property when I went and looked at it, but I made a disgustingly lowball offer for fun, and they kind of balked at it. Realtor was kind of a dickhead, said, "We're not going to take a penny less than whatever, no matter what you offer." And I go, "That's fine." And then naturally, 60 days later, the realtor calls, "Hey, they're willing to meet your number." I'm like, well, thinking about it now, like I'm only really willing to offer less than what my initial offer was. He's like, "You can't lower your offer. You already offered them this and they're willing to meet it now." I'm like, well, 2.5 months ago, you told me they weren't going $1 less than this, which was twice what I to begin with. I'm like, so they can take it or leave it. I'm like, I'll go out there and drive out there and look at it again because the price for it, even though I don't want it, the price was worth me driving just to see it again, a couple hours each way. So long story short, I get there and it was late in the afternoon. He said, "I need to decide by tomorrow at, I think, 2:00 or noon or something, like by tomorrow afternoon, because I have another buyer. By the way, it still hasn't sold yet." And that was like 3 weeks ago now. But
they always have another buyer.
Yeah, always, magically. So you can watch the video. But yeah, I decided I'm just going to camp there. I'll do this week's camp. Nice, simple truck camp. I threw everything in my truck, went out there, cooked some good food, kind of screwed around. Nothing really out of the ordinary. And then heard some... you can watch the video and read the couple thousand comments. A lot of people think it was bobcat or lynx or raccoons or something in heat, mating, whatever. I don't care what anybody says. I've spent over 200 nights, probably between 200 and 300 nights in the woods in various shapes and forms and different places. And I've heard just about every sound it has to offer. And this to me was a human woman, unless it was a man screaming like a girl. This was a human guttural, piercing scream. Long story short, I called the state police, and it's been hi bub, 3 weeks now, and I have not heard anything since. So
wow. Yeah, watch the video, and it had you rattled. Out of all the ones I've watched with you, that's the first one where I've seen you been rattled. And hello, Camping with Champion. I'm trying to get you to come on here. So,
hey Todd, I can put in a good word with Todd. I think I told you last time I can't ask or tell people to do anything, but I can always put in a good word. That's the best I can do. So since Todd's here.
I've stalked him on Facebook. So
have you? I think you mentioned you were talking. I was thinking you mentioned someone you were really trying to get in touch with. I thought it was Tony in my mind, but I guess it was Todd. But
I think I reached out to Tony too. I'm not sure. I reached out to a lot of you because I'm fascinated by your story, and especially when you get something like this, because I know you've had the video where you went out looking for Bigfoot, and
yeah,
you didn't have much success, but this rattled you. This really rattled you. I could tell.
So when I did the Bigfoot video, that was more like a challenge. I'm not saying I don't believe in strange things, because I believe in the existence of strange things. I just don't know what or who or where. I'm a big alien guy, so you can get me down that rabbit hole any day of the week. But other things, I mean, if they're out there, they are. And if they're, Les Stroud said when he did his Bigfoot series, it's very simple. Either it exists and some of this is real, because obviously some of it's hoax. He says simple terms and it's easy to understand. Either it's real or it's not.
Yeah.
There's really there's no third option, so to speak. Yeah. And when I did the Bigfoot video, I wasn't out there being a proponent of it coming to attack me in my sleep or like steal my food or hang me upside down from a tree or something. But I saw, what did I do? 5 or 6, 7 different tactics and whatever weird things that the Bigfoot experts say are things that might, blah, blah, blah. And as far as I know, nothing came of it. This, though, like I said, nothing happened to me personally, but I'm sitting in my truck. Stop, Zero. I'm sitting in my truck, and I had the heat on because it was cold. It was like 40-some degrees. And I'm on the phone with Jessica, just checking in. And the windows are up, the heat is on, and I'm talking on my phone through my Bluetooth. And I hear these screams. And I, for a minute or two, blah, blah, blah. You can watch the video. But again, I could hear it. I don't know. It did rattle me. It really rattled me because in my mind, I still do. I have no doubt that it was a human being.
That's scary.
Right.
Well, it was loud enough to be over your all that stuff inside the truck, and the new trucks are pretty sealed up. So yeah, that's got some vocals on it.
Yeah. I also, I don't know. I can't shake the feeling that it was a human being. Like, I don't know. It might be combative or like counterintuitive to argue with people on YouTube. And I've kind of really stopped that. I've been actually deleting a lot of like hater comments, and it's been very freeing. That was a suggestion Todd gave to me. He's like, you give these people attention. That's exactly what they want. So there's a line I draw in the sand, criticize me or make fun of me or call me names. But once it gets beyond a certain point, I take care of them. But with, something like this, I'm not arguing or being combative or trying to like hoax people into believing one thing or another. I'm going to stand by. I truly believe that what I heard was a woman screaming.
When you called police, because that was a real rural area.
Yeah, it's fairly rural. Yeah.
How did that call go? I hear screaming in the woods, and I don't know what it is.
So, okay, hang on one second. Let me mute this dog for this dog real quick. So I guess the dispatcher that I talked to was friendly at first, I guess, if that's the word you want to use. And then they immediately, I guess that was the local switchboard. Get out of here, Zero. Stop. Stop. And they immediately said, that's the state police's jurisdiction. Let me transfer you. So that was kind of in my mind frustrating because I was anxiety ridden. I'm like, I already don't want, not that I don't want to be helping someone out, but I'm like, I don't want to be calling the police. It was, whatever. a Tuesday night, whatever, Monday night, 8 o'clock at night, whatever it was. And so they transferred me to the state police. That dispatcher, they're asking me all the questions, and I'm just, I chopped out a lot of the conversation on the phone just to kind of help the video along, or else it, would have been, I was on the phone probably for like 12 to 15 minutes, which was super annoying as well. In conjunction with then the response time, it was 31 minutes, like on the nose, like 30 minutes and change from when I hung up the phone, and they said it would be 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. When I hung up the phone to when they pulled in, because I drove 4 or 5 miles, whatever, 15 minutes back to town. It was literally a 30-minute and change response time. So at that point,
crazy.
Yeah, they're asking me to explain, and I said it in the video. They seemed like, I get it in hindsight. They seemed like suspicious of me, like that I did something, I thought, or like that I was messing with, something like, I could just tell they felt like something was off with me. And then they asked me to lead them down this holler, essentially, like, it's like there's the turnpike, and then about a 10-minute drive down a state route into the valley, into this little town, and then this holler is off the state route just outside of town. And we were like probably between 4 solid miles up this, pretty much one. It's not one way in, one way out, essentially. I guess it is, actually. It is. It's one way in, one way out, and it's like a vehicle and a half wide at most parts. Like if someone else is coming, you're backing up or looking for the nearest turnoff to let them pass. Like you're not driving a Buick Regal down it by any means. And I got these 2 state cops following me a significant ways up this, So in my mind, I'm like, this is like literally like a movie. Get there and they have their things out and they're looking around the cabin that was next, blah, 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 blah. And then they just said, well, there's a couple other houses down the road, cabins, whatever. We're going to go look at those, but you get out of here. And they just told me to leave, and nobody ever called me back that night to follow up. It's been, I guess, over almost 3 weeks now, if I'm not mistaken. And I haven't heard hide nor hair. I Google searched through the area twice, and just like the borough or like the township and the county that I know it's in. And I haven't found anything of anything worth note in relevancy to that video or that night at all. Not even like a report of the call or anything. So I know sometimes there's a latency with like police blotters are like 3 or 4 weeks behind potentially, just like they, but I haven't seen anything. So hi to everybody that's here too. I see the comments on the side, but I don't ever shut up, so I can't read them at all times.
They probably thought you were trying to lure them into the trap.
Yeah, well, that's a possibility. Having worked in public safety, I can tell you that that's a possibility. There's crazy people out there, but and I would imagine for them, this was probably, especially being a state trooper, it was a odd call because, they're used to the highway and stuff. And
right.
That's more rural police work. But, well, luckily nobody was found or whatever. I mean, I guess.
That's what I know of anyway. I'm not going to say nothing happened or something happened. There's no way. There's literally no way of knowing. You're pretty correct. The state police are mostly on the turnpike, which is I-80, runs through PA, blah, 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 all the way across the country. Mm-hmm. But I guess it's not the turnpike in PA, it's Interstate 80. In Ohio, it's the Ohio Turnpike. But I've been up in that specific, there's two towns, a northern and southern, on the stretch of river that I'm looking in that are my stomping grounds up there. And to access the areas, go through this town I was in. I've never really seen police through there. Occasionally at the truck stop restaurant, and there's a motel at the off of 80 where we get off to access these areas. I've seen a cop or two there, but it's always, I guess, a state trooper. But it never connected with me that there's not even like a borough police or like a county something or other, like wherever these guys were. I'm assuming they were the closest in proximity, and to get to where I was even off of 80 is a solid 10-minute drive. So even if they were 15, 20 miles out, even 10 miles out, it's still going to take them, and I don't know. It's kind of unnerving knowing, granted, if something bad happens and someone wants to hurt me or something like that, if I am ever out there, that's one thing. But even if I break my leg or have a heart attack or something, You know, it's like even and you know, an ambulance isn't doing 100 miles an hour like a state trooper probably was if they were.
No, we're much slower.
So it's kind of unnerving to know, you know, like I'm from the suburbs, but I've spent plenty of time in the bush in way more rural areas than that, up in northern Ontario and even deeper into PA and stuff like that. But I've never really needed, even when I was in the Boundary Waters and hurt my ankle, the paramedics came in on the float plane and they were there in probably about, it was like less than an hour or so relative to coming in on a float plane versus state troopers showing up to an established blah, blah, blah. Like the response time was, I mean, under an hour for both of them, but coming in on a float plane versus state,
Yeah.
you know, it's like it was eye opening. So.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times in these rural areas, everything's volunteer, so you got to round up the troops, so to speak. I know when we're out in the woods, if we go deep in the woods, one of us always has it's a little thing that's got like 3 buttons on it. Like 1 is I need help, 2 is like need help really bad, and 3 is like I'm gonna die. And it's a satellite thing, it sends out a signal. But yeah, but even some of the places here in the South, we go, you're gonna be a minute before somebody can get to you.
Yeah, I have my my Zoleo Satcom, and that's what helped me out in the Boundary Waters when I rolled my ankle. So it was literally the first time I had taken it on a trip with me and used it I guess it was the second or third day, one of the two. I was there 2 nights. So it was the third day, whatever it was, second day. Or was I there one night? I don't know. So it came in handy. I take it with me when I go deep into PA because a lot of areas that I'm familiar with now, I know where I'm going to have service and not based on kind of like where my like a lot of my campsites or hotels and stuff we stay are based to get to areas that we go fish. So I kind of know we have a lot more like home base areas now than we did a few years ago. So having something like that, even just to text back and forth with my wife, it's intuitive through the cell phone app. So as long as I have a signal through the Zoleo, I can literally just, you know, I can't get calls out, but if I need the SOS, and I can text back and forth with Jessica, which is nice. So it's worth having. And I think it's like $15 a month when it's active, and when it's dormant, it's like $4 a month. So if I only, you know, I'll activate it
Hello, Brenda.
You know, so it's worthwhile.
Yeah. I know when we were deep in the woods in South Georgia, my cousin had a heart incident of all times in the middle of the night, and I was asleep, and it took me about 45 minutes just to get out of the woods from where we were, and then probably another 30 minutes to get to a hospital. So
right.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize, you know, you get used to the city stuff and you think, oh, 911, they'll be here in 8 minutes or whatever. Yeah, not out in the woods sometimes, and sometimes you are it.
Yeah, I guess he's a ranger, the bush pilot. He works for the U.S. Forest Service. When he flew in to pick me up, and he brought a first responder from Ely, Minnesota, so a local. So you have a forest ranger who has a float plane, so he's everywhere, and then just another medic that is in one of the northernmost towns in the continent, as far as in the United States, you know, on the border of Canada. So they're dealing, you know, a good majority of their workload accoutrement is rural or bush injuries. And unfortunately, you know, I was with them for a couple hour and a half as we tied me, blah, 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 blah. They said a majority of the injuries up there are broken limbs and or heart attacks from the strain of canoe tripping and backpacking and ice. What do you call them? ATV, snowmobile, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, yeah, it's either a broken limb or a heart attack. And they said, unfortunately, like over 80% of the time, they're arriving for a heart incident and it's, you know, beyond time to do anything. Yeah. And then at that point, they can't do anything at all until a coroner then comes to fly in. So, you know, by the time they get there, they can't do anything. And then they can't do anything to help you. And then they can't do anything for you or with you until other people get, you know, it's not a good way to go out.
When I first started working in EMS, I was in rural East Tennessee, so I know how that is. So,
right.
So you didn't buy the property. That was an omen, if nothing else.
No, yeah, there was just like I said it in the video too. When I looked at it back, I think it was Labor Day weekend, I want to say, or just before. when I looked at it back then, I said, I can't really do anything with it at all, but the price is nice, but it's still too high for what it is. And then literally they chopped from what they were asking originally, and they won't go a penny lower. They chopped it in half. And then I'm trying to play ball with them back and forth just on before I drive, So I didn't want it anyway. Even at half the price, it was still in my mind. I mean, yeah, the price was nice for 2 acres, but it's 2 acres on the side of a mountain. Like I said in the video, like 2 Silverados was all the flats, I'm trying to say. So something else will come along, I guess. I'm kind of done looking, honestly. I've looked at a lot of different cabins, falling down cabins, good land, everything's got strings attached. And it's like finally something like that with the half price that they cut it in half, like just full transparency. I could just pay cash for that and be done. But it's like, finally something I can actually afford because they chopped it in half. If they kept it at the full price, I'd have to loan it. If the chopped in half, I could pay cash. And it's even that. It's like the strings attached. Well, I can afford it with cash. It's 2 acres, but I can't even use 1/10 of an acre of it. Like just to excavate it alone would cost me that extra half that they chopped off the price to make a flat enough area to do. It's like,
so, then you got to put in the septic and all. Yeah, that's a
100%. Right.
Yeah. Well, so since we last chatted, have you done any more stealth camps?
When was I on? Was it like June or something?
You had done Starbucks.
Oh,
the roof of Starbucks not long before that.
Recent, yeah.
Okay, so I was on here sooner than that. Let me check my videos. I thought I was on here earlier than that, but I guess Starbucks was September 4th. So so I guess I was on here sometime in September. It doesn't seem like it was longer than that ago.
No, it was here recently.
Yeah, I know it was this in the second half of this year, but it just feels the year's flown by. I did the McDonald's rooftop after Starbucks, and then I went to camp.
You were getting ready to do McDonald's.
Yeah, yep. And then I attempted to camp on that train bridge that was falling apart.
That's right.
I went back and I camped in those woods where I got chased out of. I accomplished that. The church that was the haunted Helltown church where the property owner kicked me out. Literally, I was there less than 5 minutes and got kicked out. That was awesome. I did the luxury Walmart truck stealth camping when I got that new air mattress set the night before my anniversary.
Yes, I remember that one.
I camped in that. That was a couple weeks ago. I camped in the that camo bivy tent.
The one that rolled over.
Yeah. So I think as far as stealths go, were any of them really? McDonald's was successful. The bivy tent was successful, and then the train.
Yeah, you told us about the Walmart when the person was knocking on the door trying to come in.
Yeah, so Walmart and I have a relationship. That was, I think, my 4th, because I slept in my truck there the night before our anniversary so I could get her flowers and coffee and stuff. So that was last month. But yeah, I think that specific Walmart and Home Depot, they share a parking lot. I've shot like Home Depot shed behind Walmart, inside Walmart. I mean, I think I filmed like 7 videos just in that square acre. Like, it's a hub for, and I have a few more ideas too. It's just a hub for raunchy stupidness.
Well, the McDonald's one, it was a success.
Yeah.
At a car wash or the golf course. One was funny, oldie but goodie. Yeah.
Those are original ones. Those are like the first run, like back to 2023, I think it was. Obviously 2 years. Yeah. So 2023, those were both in like the first 10, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Or like the first original run when I was like only stealth camping.
How was it sleeping on the McDonald's roof?
I didn't sleep, honestly. I might have for maybe 20 minutes or so, but ironically, Starbucks was way more hospitable, even though I should have been comfortable on McDonald's more so because I was on the Starbucks roof the week before. I don't know what the difference was. I think, well, there were cameras pointing directly at the ladder. The ladder also had one of those gate things on it. So even though it wasn't locked, there was just like a lot, and the parking lot is like a fucking Texas high school football field on Friday night, like lit up like that Friday night light. And just knowing again that I couldn't go up there and I had to leave early. It was, I don't know, I was just very, very nervous. Plus that area is pretty hot as far as like where cops hang out at night. And there's a Taco Bell right there. The Dollar Tree across the street where the cops messed with me. That they were nice, I guess, but I didn't, so I just know that they lurk in that area pretty well, including when I stealth camped behind the dumpster at that McDonald's and a cop came through and my truck was in the lot like earlier this year, January or whatever. And he like pulled through and lit up my truck to see if someone, like just with his thing in his car, the handy light, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
So I knew, I mean, if you're in any other area that you're not familiar with, you don't know what the unknowns are, but I knew what the possibilities of law enforcement and cameras that might be watching the rest, because it's a McDonald's, people, private security, stuff like that. There was just a lot of potential that I was aware of for malfeasance to go wrong. So it was a long night, but I mean, I got up there after they closed. I left right as they were opening, and nobody has said anything yet. So.
You're Sleeping on the Roof reminds me of Channing Tatum's new movie that's come out or is coming out. I sent the picture to Glenn, The Roof Man.
Oh, my buddy was telling me about that. He's like, doesn't he like rob McDonald's from above or something like that? Like
and he does like Walmart and.
My buddy, my best friend, I'm 99% sure. I don't know if it was the night that I was at McDonald's or like the next night, but him and his wife went to go see that in theaters and her water broke when their baby's born now. It was like 5 weeks ago now. But I was on McDonald's roof like either that night or the next morning after that. They went to see that Roof Man movie and only made it like 20 minutes in and her water broke. So it's like a running joke.
My.
Yeah, so the baby's healthy and everything, but it was like it was like a funny coincidence, I guess, that they were watching that while their best friend is on the roof and then they have the baby. It was just like a cluster F of weirdness or coincidence, I guess, if you believe in that.
Well, now that it's getting colder, do you still like to do it in the cold, or some people like the summer camp? So.
No, I mean, the cold is just a byproduct of the time of year, but what really bites is the time change because, I say it in this week's video too, even when it's light out till 7, 8 o'clock.
It's still dark as I'll get out here in Ohio at that time.
Yeah. I mean, by 5:15, it's dark here. And
I get off work at 5 and it's dark outside.
Yeah, it's miserable. And then being cold on top of it. It's just, if I've said it a lot, like if I'm out there from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., let's just say, being in the light, and even if it's cold, it doesn't matter, but being in the light and filming versus, because if I film 2-3 hours worth of footage for a 30-40 minute video every week, that's only 3 of the 12 hours I'm out there plus the sleep. It's like there's nothing to do. And now you're adding in
extreme cold.
Yeah, extreme cold, longer darkness. Like it gets pretty boring and like, why am I doing this? This is 2023. So the winter 23, winter 24. So I'm going into my third winter of doing this weekly. And it's definitely not like the first year I was like, it sucked, but I was kind of all about it because, the stealth camp coming out tomorrow, stealth camp number 56. Over a 2-year and change span, plus all the other videos I camp in the cold, fishing, all that other stuff. But like when I'm not waking up to go fishing or waking up from a camping trip to go fit, blah, blah, blah. It's like the only reward I have is people watching me on YouTube. I mean, it's fun. People enjoy the videos and stuff, no doubt. And the channel's still growing. But in the short term, it's not like I'm making hundreds or thousands of dollars each week off of posting a video, which is eventually the goal, but it's like I still feel like I'm paying my dues because obviously I'm not making a living off this yet. So right now, it's still a little, but then again, it's like the guys that start any company, McDonald's or Amazon or whatever, they're working out of garages, they're taking out loans, they're working 19-hour days. They're broke, then they're mint, then they're broke again, then they're,
Mhm.
it's like, I'm not comparing myself to any of those guys, but the ideology is the same. Nobody just starts day one and is successful overnight. That's what everybody says. They're an overnight success that took 5 years to get there.
Yeah, YouTube is hard work. Don't let anybody fool you. So
No, it is. But then there's also those strike it viral pretty quick kind. You know what I'm saying? The viral game I guess it's like essentially winning the lottery too. Like
You
it's
gotta
hard.
be at the right you gotta have your video out at the right time and it be the right content and get the right attention and the right audience to hit it big.
yeah, pretty much. It's
Unfortunately, we're not that people yet.
not
We're
yet
getting,
anyway.
yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there eventually. So eventually,
We haven't hit the old people yet. They're not on here to watch us.
Mm.
I am an old people. So
So Tony from Random Adventures 2.0, not that age is just a number anyway, but it is funny. I've sat with Tony and talked with him and about our analytics and stuff. I haven't talked to Tony in depth in a while. I don't know. We just haven't connected lately at all, but I would like to. I got to give him a call, or he should give me a call. But his analytics are, I forget the age brackets, but just like they'd ask you on any kind of like survey, like 18 to 24, 24 to 35, 35 to 49, 50 plus, or like 50 to 60, whatever. Tony, his, he's got 40 some thousand now, 35, 40 some thousand, I think. His bracket of age is that, like, I don't want to say seniors in like a derogatory way, but of like seniors, like 50 or 60 plus, versus mine is more of like kind of mixed, but on the younger side. And then I know Todd Champion kind of has a mix of both, if I'm not mistaken. But it is really wild that they can break down and actually see who is watching your videos, and then obviously that's who they're going to target more as well when they're pushing your videos out. So it's YouTube, it's in an AI and the algorithms. Things have changed, especially in the last 6 months. I've noticed it myself because I'm on YouTube every day. I put in a lot of time on the back end of things too, even just responding to comments. But I'm pretty in tune with what's going on analytically, even though my channel is not huge. But things have changed or are, I guess, ever evolving. But especially the second half of this year has been very interesting.
yeah, they've changed, and depending on your content, they will boost you or push you down. So
yeah,
it's like I said, it's hard to get the right balance. We're privileged to be on the air in Australia with Radio X, and we've got a station down in Florida that replays this. This will replay there tomorrow night. And so we're kind of blessed that way. But the other thing I've noticed is, and Mrs. Sportcat, she's like, you got to do TikTok. I hate TikTok. But you can't pull people from one to another. It's almost impossible to get somebody to switch off whatever it is they like.
Yeah. No, that's 100% true. I have a TikTok, just like I have a Twitter, and I use Instagram pretty much frequently, but I don't use anything else, just my Instagram. And then obviously YouTube's the forefront, and I have my email and stuff. But I have a Twitter, I have a Reddit, and I have a TikTok, but mainly just to secure them in name. And I use them for my personal stuff anyway. TikTok in particular, it's the same thing with the YouTube shorts. Everybody's all about the YouTube shorts, and it's basically YouTube's competition to TikTok. And I can promise you, I've had a few TikToks, accounts that like stole my content. The scared running through the woods video, one of those people accosted me. Some of them got like tens of millions of views, which was cool for me to see. And but the finances there, it's like, I remember asking ChatGPT at the time, like, how much does 20 million views on TikTok pay you? And it's like $40 or something. So at first I thought I was getting screwed out of money. And I'm like, I guess it's negligible. 20 million views on YouTube's a heck of a lot more than $40.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of people saying, here from TikTok, here from Chilling Scares or whatever it's all called. And I made one myself and uploaded some of my own clips that were kind of like, that eye-catchy style. But yeah, it's really hard to get people from one platform to another. They're almost, even if you tell them to, they're almost gonna either do it on their own or not. Like if they see, I want to watch this video, or this guy's funny and he's got a YouTube link, that's when they're gonna go do it. But it's basically on their own. Same thing with the YouTube Shorts. People keep trying to, especially on Reddit subs and stuff, and in like if you watch like other creators like Mr. Beast or other big time YouTubers, YouTube Shorts, I feel like YouTube is pushing them really hard because they want to compete with TikTok, but those views and monetization don't count towards your algorithm of your long form content the same. As well as, let's just say I upload a short tonight and it goes viral and I get 1 million views and 1,000 subscribers. The monetization is not the same. So 1 million views for a long form video versus a short is negligible again, which kind of sucks. And then also 1,000 subscribers on a long form video versus 1,000 subscribers on a short. You might as well have only gotten 100, because most of them aren't even, they're not, you're not going to be in their main page. You're not going to be in their subscription feed because they're only on YouTube for the shorts, more than likely, a good majority of them. So not that you shouldn't do shorts, but I've seen on Reddit plenty too. A lot of accounts have gotten huge using shorts, but their long form content hasn't grown much, if at all. And they're like, and then your algorithm starts to change because YouTube knows you're doing shorts more. Honestly, in my opinion, it can be a channel killer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I've gained a couple, like 8 followers here within the last couple days from YouTube Shorts.
And that's hello from the Dare Media Group in Australia. That's who's broadcasting us in Australia.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Good night.
Over the weekend, he's messaging me saying, "What did you do?" I'm like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "You broke the servers. We had more listeners than their servers could handle at one point in time on a weekend replay show." And I'm like, "What? Me?"
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah. So we love our Australian fan, and they tune in for us, which I don't know. I can't figure it out, but I roll with it. I love it. And we made, of course, that short of you from the last time you were here for them over on Dare Talk. They love that. So
I'm happy to be here, and anything I can do to help support, for sure. I'm grateful for the support you guys have shown me, and like I said, anything I can do. I try to spread myself out there as much as I can.
Oh yeah, your video is one of the ones I know when it's going to drop, and I'm like, got to see it. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I really enjoy it, and I love how you're like, I'm doing this because I'm a content creator, or this is Safety Kevin, or
right. I don't know what it is, but I tend to, I guess I don't know. It's just my mind or something, but I tend to like get hyper fixated on things for like a while, and then it slowly turns into something else, like sausage and peppers. And I still enjoy sausage and peppers, but I don't really say that much anymore. And then the same thing with like moist, and I would say that a lot. Then I kind of like, and then like the screaming and dancing and stuff. And I used to do that a lot more. And, now it's I'm a content creator. I was doing it in tomorrow's video too, like a bunch, either way, but it's like, I kind of have like phases,
Well, it's very funny. My wife goes, "He's so stupid." And I'm like, "That's the point."
It's just me, whether I mean, I wouldn't sit here and say I'm not stupid, but I'm just.
She didn't mean it derogatorily, by the way.
Oh no, yeah, I don't take it that way. Yeah, I'm just me. What you see is what you get. If you've watched my videos, or you're watching me here or on any of the other interviews or podcasts or whatever I've done, like I always tell people, some people when they hit record become a different person by trade. Yes. And with me, it's like I turn it on, like I'd say 10%, like that's, and anybody would, sure. If Mel Gibson is playing himself in a commercial, he still has to, even though he's supposed to just be Mel Gibson giving a testimonial, he still has to turn it on a little bit, Yeah.
My kids won't listen to my show because they say you talk different when you're on the radio. I'm like, what? No, I don't. I'm like, maybe I enunciate more, whereas I just scream at you. So maybe that's.
That could be true.
Could be. So where do you want to go next? What's your big stealth camp that you got in mind now? I mean, don't obviously give it away, but
so I have the one tomorrow it's a stealth camp, but it's not anything special. I'm not really happy with the video, but it's going to come out either way. Because like I said, I just shoot what I shoot and I put it out. Whether it's, you know, and next week I have the location picked. I'm doing a brand deal with one of those electric bikes that all the other creators have received except me. And I really wanted one so bad. And now I finally received one through a brand deal. So that's awesome. So I'm in a camp using that as my vehicular transportation. So I have a location picked for that. Plus it's Thanksgiving, so I don't know what the viewership will be like. So I'm like, might as well get the brand deal one out of the way. So after that, I'm kind of done taking deals for now because I don't want to just be. I notice it's like it's going to get off topic a little bit, but a lot, and I'm guilty of it. So I'm not talking to anybody. Todd knows too if Todd's still watching, and I'm not saying it derogatory towards Todd either, but we've almost become kind of gear salesmen, and I want products that I'm going to use, and full disclosure, they usually take care of us on the back end as well for our time and effort. And it's nice. And I was talking to Jessica about it. Like I might not have the big channel like I want and consistent views and subscribers and monetization, but being able to kind of reap a little bit of a reward like that is super nice. But I'm not going to continue to just every single week be hawking gear. And a couple, the power station company, ABOC, that I'm partnered with, super awesome people. They're like a channel partner at this point, what we've done and things we're working on behind the scenes. They're actually they're helping support me in the channel. But just if I showed you my emails and a lot of the stuff that I've already reviewed, and when I send them my quotes and contracts, and it's nice to receive those things on the back end once it's all said and done. Like I do my part and then they take care of me on their end. It's definitely a great benefit that I could see being even more lucrative, I suppose, as the channels continue to grow. But I've said it myself in those videos. I get dozens of emails, not dozens, but 10 to 15 emails a day. And I read all of them, even if it's nonsense. And I probably say yes to 10% of them. But at the same time, now that those 10% I'm saying yes to are per capita greater than they were a year ago when there was, it's the last thing I want to do is just, even if it's a 1-minute ad in every video every week, I really got to be overwhelmed by what they're offering me or what the product is. And I'm probably taking money out of my own pocket by doing so, but I don't, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying it to Todd or anybody else, but a lot of us are becoming gear salesmen. And it's not a negative thing at all. And like I said, it's helping us out a little bit on the back end, but to me, it's just like, it's easy to say, it's getting easier and easier to say yes because of everything I mentioned. And I'm not just sitting here trying to talk about, financial things either, but I think you can kind of pick up where I'm getting at. So next week I will take care of that because that's an actual obligation. And then from there, I have 2 videos in particular that I plan to shoot between now and the end of the year. One of them is a video that I've done twice and failed both times. And then another one is what I call a very, very risky one, that I don't know how I'm going to, not that I know there's a couple different ways I can pull it off, but I don't know how I'm going to. So I guess we got 5 weeks left in the year. So including next week, that's already going to be shot. I got 5 videos left. So I've got 2, what I call premier stealth camps coming for sure. And then I really want to do a couple good winter camps this year too. Like, I did last year the Temu survival blanket challenge. And I hate to say it, but in my mind, I opened it. I'm like, I'm going to see how long I can pretend I have a broken leg in this thing. And I tested it out in my backyard just to see what it was like. I'm like, I'm not going to be out here for in my mind, I'm like, I'll be home before 10 p.m. And of course, what is it? I was out there for like 3 hours and it was ripped and torn and I was frozen. I'm like, there's no way in my mind, I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm making it through the night. Like, let's be honest.
I've never camped in the snow, but the cold is challenging. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd like to do a couple snowstorm camps this year. I have a couple different mechanisms how I'd like to do that. And then the cool thing about winter time is it opens up I try to save indoor camps or like camps that I know would be good for cold weather for this time of year. So there's one that's really, really on my mind that I've been waiting to do. In the past 2 winters, time just escaped me, and I don't know why, because I think it's a really cool spot for indoor winter camping. So I'm going to do that probably on like the polar vortex week, whenever that comes into town. But then that also begs the question, or do I do a outdoor winter camp in the polar vortex and get to use that in the tight, I'm trying to say, it's always like Harley said, it's like, you don't know what you're missing out on or what you might not be capitalizing on. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's tough, but yeah, so I've got some ideas, and then my list is growing and long.
And this is Ohio. You never know when it's actually going to hit.
Right.
We've been in the 50s, like yesterday was in the 50s, and then it went chilly, and then today it's been hot and cold.
And we had, you're north
snow and
snow last week, right? And some places out east of us, like about an hour east of here, got almost a foot, and it's all gone now. But
yeah, ours didn't even last a day here in Parma, so
like 2-3 inches, it was gone within 48 hours.
Well, just for the record, that would shut Atlanta down. They wouldn't know what to do.
They don't shut nothing down here in this area for any snow. Though, no, here in Ohio, they close schools for heat.
When the heat goes out.
When it gets hot, during the summer, they'll close the school.
It's crazy. So,
but they could have school when there's 3 feet of snow on the ground.
We had way more snow days when I was a kid, but also there was less plows, and there wasn't as much, like, now it's not even, they use salt, but they also use like
salt and sand mixed.
Yeah, they use all kinds, and there's like this blue chemical stuff, I forget they call it, isopropyl jamocha loca, whatever the hell it's called. And it's not as hard on the roads, but I'm sure way worse for the environment. But so it's like they just know they have better technology, better ability than they did. I just turned 34, so you're talking, 20 some years ago at this point. But yeah, we used to.
Here in Ohio, they start putting plows out when they even get the slightest bit of.
And they do
like there's plows out right now here in Parma, and there's no snow on the ground.
Right.
Wow. We have one snowplow in like Metro Atlanta, and it's probably broke down right now.
There's so many in Ohio. Like there's 10 to 20 running in just my little area.
Yeah, every city has its own fleet, if you can imagine that. So even just imagine, 15 individual cities or so. Probably, in Cuyahoga County, how many cities are there?
And each business has their own
private contractor it's like there's,
But it was East Tennessee was a little bit better. They did when I was in Knoxville, Knox County. They had plows, probably not as many as you guys, but at least they had some. Plus, you know how it is in the country. You take care of your neighbor. Somebody in the neighborhood's going to plow, and they're going to come. So, but yeah. I've never camped in the snow. I almost want to try it, but I hate the cold. So,
but you go in prepared. You're going to be cold no matter what. But obviously, having cold hands or a cold face while you're out hunting or ice skating or going out to get your mail, that's just like part of the game. But camping or I have been out fishing on the boat when it's 40 degrees and raining or sleeting, or we go fly fishing in late March, early April, or even if we steelhead, which I don't really do much anymore around here. Steelheading's, over the winter. And I've been balls deep with ice, or not like locked in ice, but like walking from an icy shore into thigh balls deep water, and it's just part of the game, wearing, what do you call them? Long underwear, and then wool socks and a pair of sweatpants, and then my waders, and I'm wearing a t-shirt and then a thermal and then a big heavy flannel and then my like over, and it's like, it's just part of the game. A lot of times throw on 2 pairs of wool socks, just blah, 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 earmuffs and a neck gaiter or a face buff. It's like,
I've been in the South too long, so.
Yeah. So Todd is in Alabama. At least right now he is. And, even being in the 50s at night, most of the winter, I'm sure it gets down in the 40s and 30s, but I mean, nothing like up here. Like a cold stretch for them would be like our entire November through March. And I'm very envious because, yeah, I do, even having the low light and less daytime, the temperature alone would be a big caveat to doing more throughout those months. Or even living out on the West Coast or in the Southwest or something like that. Like it's definitely, it can be harsh for sure, especially on the mental state and all that too. Like, the shorter days are one thing, but then it's cold, so you don't even want to be outside, blah, blah, blah. It's, it weighs on you, especially, certain people more so in particular, I'm myself included.
Me. Yeah, that was one thing I wanted to talk to you about. You had a period where you were kind of down. So how are you now? Well, and I had too, to be, open transparency there.
Well, you go first because I want to hear what you have to say too. Your experience is just as important as mine, even if I'm the one being interviewed.
Well, no, thank you. Basically, I've had this, it feels like a hollow, empty feeling. And it's like, hey, do you ever crave a chocolate bar, a Mountain Dew or something? It's like a craving that you can't get cured. I've had therapy, and of course that told you that they're trying pills. But a lot of times you just kind of have to pull yourself out of it. And the first part is sleep. You got to be able to sleep. And if you can't sleep, then it's just going to spiral more. So I managed to get my sleep habit back, which helped a lot.
Good.
I quit the Mountain Dews. That was my only vice. That was my only vice. I don't do anything else. That was it. But and I've pulled myself out, and I've done some therapy. And basically I've come to the conclusion with therapists, and God, if she's watching, basically they're just a coach. They're going, attaboy, you're good. I mean, am I lying?
No. So you hit on a few things that like are super relevant to me in my experience too. So I'm glad that you went first because, and also I try to be a champion of talking about my own to encourage other people to talk about their own. So I kind of Jedi mind tricked you into talking about it, which proves my point that that's exactly what I like to do. So amen. So good for you. And it's your show.
Yeah, I'm not shy about it. And I think that's another thing that helped me because I get a lot of live interaction with the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight it's not as lively, but I get a lot of live interaction when I'm doing a show. And so I get feedback, and it makes me feel good to have people I'm engaged with. So that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, I'm complete opposite of you. I tend to, and I don't know if you noticed this here the last couple weeks, I tend to shut down and not talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Because like Glenn's messaged me a couple times here this last week. Are you mad at me? No, not at all. Just trying to figure out some things in my head.
Just doing your thing.
Yeah. Like I shut down. I don't talk to nobody. I just go quiet.
I think I could do that. I'm not a loner, so to speak. So.
Well, I'm not either. I'm normally a people person, but with work and life and everything else, I just get into that moment where I don't talk to nobody.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I like to isolate a lot of times too, just to kind of like cleanse myself of other people and their problems and stuff. And not like that I want to not help people or be a friend or someone to be, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, it's almost like that you got to figure it out yourself, which Glenn, you kind of mentioned. And also, I'm pretty selfless with my time and like to help people and even talk or listen with people. But certain times, I get an inbox a day full of people, and it's good. I have ongoing. It's like with so many people, it's awesome. I love it, and it's not always bad or like Debbie Downer stuff. And I'm the king of. I put myself out there, Debbie Downer, plenty as it is, so I'm not degrading anybody. But sometimes, like you're saying, Harley, is like I just like to shut it all off as much as I can. And even like with Jessica, not that she'll tell me about her friend who's going through some stuff right now, or I'll tell her about my friend who had the baby. There's some, there were some issues. Everything's perfectly fine and they're healthy, but there were some complications and stuff that you want to talk to people, blah blah blah, people you care about. But I find myself more so lately saying like, I can't hear about this right now. I got too much on my own plate. And it's not that I don't want to hear about friend X or this is or that's, but it's like right now, like if you ask me in a week or tell me in a week, I'll be able to be like, oh, that's blah blah blah, this that. But it's I don't have the capacity to like internalize it or actually like take it at face value to, I guess, internalize it and hear what you're saying to me, or try and be helpful on the other end, or even just like be fair and, like I said, hear what you're saying to me, because I'm so wrapped up in my own stuff that it's like it's like computer overload. I can't fit anything else on my hard drive right now.
And see, I'm the type of person, like, I don't like to put my issues that I have onto other people.
That
So
too.
I tend to just go inward and try to deal with them myself, because I know Glenn and my other friends have their own issues that they've got going on in their life right now. So I really don't want to like put my issues on them. And that's a lot of my whole with my autism and everything. I tend to decom go inward and not exactly explain what's going on. I just go inside and stay myself and not talk to anybody.
Yeah, I mean it's almost easier to do that at certain points too, because it takes you out of all those other conversations and
And
situations.
I deal with people 8 to 10 hours a day.
Yeah, that's
And when I
Yeah.
get home from work, I have my own stuff running through my head, and it's just hard after, because yes, I am a very social person. I like talking to people. But after doing it all day long, I come home and I'm like, no.
Right.
I get that totally. When I was on the ambulance, it was like that a lot of times. I'd be just like, let me be alone for a while.
Sorry,
Uh,
they've got my OCD right now. They've got my headphone cord all just
All right, Sam, we're at the top of the hour. So I want everybody to know where they can find you and what you got coming up. And as always, thank you for coming on. I love having you on because you never
it's
know
great conversation.
with you. Like I told you before, I'll go running into a burning building, but I don't want to stealth camp.
Will you try it one time? Something super benign. Yeah, maybe
If I come up there, I might
He
try
could
it.
come to Ohio and meet me in person, and then we could stealth camp with him.
Yeah, there's plenty
We'll
of
all
places
3 stealth
to
camp.
right.
I won't rule it out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hey, I've been trying to get him to come to Ohio for a while.
Yeah, real quick, one thing I wanted to ask you guys is, how do you know each other, or how did this all come into play? I don't want to burn up the rest of your time.
No. Well, I've been doing a show for about 3 years now, and we met through a mutual acquaintance.
My co-host.
And yeah, that's right, her co-host.
Uh-huh.
And we all borrow and pull each other here and there. And I would be like, "Hey, Harley, you want to come in and co-host when my regular co-host is out?" And she said, "Sure." And then one of my co-hosts, she ended up working full time at night, and the other one was having some family issues and just got out of social media altogether. So I'm like, "Harley, get your ass over here."
Right. Yeah, sometimes I feel like doing that too, especially the more people come along and join this train we're riding. And it's like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into sometimes, but I'm with you. I hear that big time. But
We're
yeah,
just a big podcast community, and that's how it works.
it's
Sure.
good to know people, especially I've met a lot of creators and I'm friends with even like Todd, and I text fairly frequently, blah blah blah. Whether it's people that do digital design and thumbnails, or people that have podcasts, or people that have shows for this or that, or other campers or other outdoor people.
Like, honestly, Glenn has become one of my best friends, and my son did all my thumbnails for my podcast.
Beautiful.
All right, Sam. So Northwest Wind on YouTube.
Yeah, Northwest Wind on YouTube and on Instagram, the Northwest Wind. New videos every Thursday at 6 p.m. And occasionally you'll get a solid video every Thursday at 6. And then occasionally, if there's ever another video, it's Sundays at 6. So every Thursday, some Sundays, YouTube, Instagram, the Northwest Wind. My contact info is in the description of every video. So if you need to email me or want to get in touch with me, Instagram DM or email me. I respond to everybody, even if you just want to tell me that I have a crappy beard or something. I know it's a nice beard though, right? Go ahead and get in touch with me, and you'll hear back from me one way or the other. And yeah, thank both of you guys for having me. I'm glad to come on, and anytime you want me.
Hey, yeah, I love having you on here. And let me read this one comment real quick. Susan says, for me, I get overstimulated with people and their energy. I tend to take on other emotions, and their problems can begin to feel like they're on their own. Or my own.
That is me. Exactly. Right there. That is how I am.
That's it.
Sometimes you got to chop the head off that beast and just kind of worry about yourself for a little bit.
That's right. All right, Sam. I'll message you and send the word out to Tony and to Champion that I don't bite. So I'll be nice. I promise. So.
For sure. Yeah, you have my word. I'll text him right when I get off here. I can't guarantee anything, but Todd was here, so Todd's not afraid.
Yeah, I know. He's feeling me out. He was probably, like I said, I stalked him. So
right.
Maybe it was creepy. I don't know. All right, Sam. Well, have a good one. We will see you soon, I hope. So,
all right. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, Harley. I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving.
All right. You too, brother. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. That was great. Let me stop this over here real quick. So, as you know, every week we have more than one guest. And and this week is no exception. We have Bryce Ingram. Is it Ingham? I'm sorry, I was saying Ingram. He's got a
That's
comic
my last name, Ingram.
And that's probably why I was doing that. And it's pretty cool. We got an advanced copy of issue 1. And being an animal lover, it was really cool. And then being a science fiction lover, I love that it was Death Dog issue 1 from Ahoy Comics. So let me bring him out here real quick. Hello there. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Your last name's kind of like mine.
Very similar. Yeah. I get a lot of people thinking it's Ingram, so I know your name well.
I was looking through my trifocals, so true story. And the font's probably that big. So.
Trifocals. That's something.
Yeah. Well, you get old. So I loved your comic book. Of course, I have always had a thing about animals in cartoons. Super Dog, the Superman's Crypto. Yep. And then, of course, every one of them's had it. The Flintstones, the Jetsons, the Simpsons. I've always enjoyed that.
Santa's Little Helper on The Simpsons is probably my favorite fictional dog. I love Santa's Little Helper.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe that little dog's still going 30 years.
No. Long-lived dog, right?
No.
I mean, I think that's the longest lived dog I've ever seen in my life.
They should all live so long.
I wish. That's what I was going to say. It's the only sad thing about being a pet owner is we outlive them. And yes. I think somewhere in your book you were talking about the animals that have also broke your heart. That's because, well, unfortunately, they don't. And which I was going to ask you, in the first couple of pages, they deactivated the dog. Was that for the night? Is it coming back? Or did they just, that was it? They were done with the dog.
So the first few pages are the first few pages are describing how all these robot dogs kind of failed and are being repurposed. And the idea is they're going to wipe all their brains. these original robot dogs that were designed to be people's pets in the story, they were based on the brainwaves of actual dogs. Dogs were going extinct in this world. And as the dogs were all dying off, they started recording their brain patterns, and with some sci-fi mumbo jumbo, they were able to create robot versions of these exact same dogs. So the beginning of my story, they're shutting down all those dogs because of problems with the program. The technology has been purchased by a corporation, and they're going to be repurposed and wiped. The characters at the beginning of the book are like, we don't want this one special dog to be wiped completely. And so they kind of put in some virus into the code or whatever, so that later on, even though the dog will have a different body and be essentially being used for security, it will click back to being the dog that it always was.
Good. Yeah. Your artist does a great job of taking the dog from nice friendly dog to all of a sudden I'm a robot and I'm going to bite your hand off.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, Alan Robinson did a really wonderful job with the art. He's great to work with, very intuitive, but also really, like, any kind of note I gave him, like, oh, he needs to look a little meaner here, he was like right on it and fantastic. Yeah, I couldn't be happier with the art.
Yeah, I've always wondered, you see the image in your head. Of course, you wrote the story, and you see the image in your head. How do you paint that picture to somebody? That's total different style of art.
It is, and a different style of writing than any other kind of writing, because it's just writing where you're describing a single image that is part of sequential art to a person, and saying, okay, you can get it really detailed. Sometimes you can write a couple paragraphs describing one panel. Other times you might just write a sentence because you trust the artist that they understand the tone, they understand what the book is trying to evoke, and they can pull it off without a lot of help. But something like the cover, I'll hold up the cover here. The cover of the first issue here, that was me describing this to Alan. I said, I'd really like an image that shows both worlds that are part of the story, the haves and the have-nots, having the repurposed robot dog in his horrifying form being embraced by Wyatt, our main human character. And he did it. And at first, it looked like Wyatt was a little too big in relation to the dog, right? So I said, Alan, can you adjust that? Bang, he adjusts it, and it looks perfect. So it's exciting. Honestly, it's really exciting as a person who cannot draw
I'm gonna
like
have
this.
to buy this for my son.
Yeah. Thank you. I hope he likes it
Because he is a huge dog fanatic.
Me too. And I love fictional dogs, but I love fictional dogs the most when they act like real dogs. I'm not so into, the anthropomorphized human that just is in a dog body. And so there, I play with it a little bit. I give the dog in this story a little bit of facility with human language, but not much. And I kept her, as much as I can, acting like a dog. And as we move forward, that's always going to be my intention, is she acts like a dog. She is a dog. She's not a character, that I created. She's a dog.
Yeah, I love with the word potato.
Yes, her favorite word.
That was like a play of I Am Groot.
a little bit, yeah.
When you were doing this, did you have any dog in mind, whether fictional or your own, that you?
I think I based it mostly on dogs that I've known, like family dogs. I had a dog that I loved dearly that I had for 14 years. Like if the picture was a little wide, you can kind of see there's a picture over there on the wall behind me, that black and white photos of Mungry, my old friend. And I even thought about asking the artist to design her to look like my old dog, but we decided to go with a little bit bigger breed. It's more like a Great Dane, just to emphasize the size and danger of this robot. Because at the two purposes, or the two fuels for this story, are my love of dogs and my fear of robot dogs. Like, they are almost equal in intensity. Like, as much as I love actual living, breathing dogs, I think the potential of robot dogs is horrifying.
Agreed. Growing up, the original Yul Brynner, Westworld, terrified the hell out of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Scary
agreed.
movie,
Yeah. And, you know, with AI and stuff, it might not be that far away, which
No.
is
Well,
terrifying.
you do know they do have those robotic dogs that are like real dogs without the pooping everywhere.
No, I didn't know.
That's one improvement. The pooping,
Well,
nope.
see, that's what we're buying my son for Christmas is a robotic dog that doesn't poop everywhere.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I doubt that the dog you're buying your son is going to bite his hand off. So I think it'll probably
No.
be okay.
Well, the ones that I've got a buddy that works for the Secret Service, the ones that patrol the grounds of like Mar-a-Lago or the White House. Oh, I wouldn't mess with them. I think they got like a gun attached to them or something, a missile.
And, you know, several years ago on Black Mirror, there's an episode that's all about robot dogs. And if you're not already scared of them and you watch like how they portray the near future possibilities of that technology, it's chilling.
Yeah, I work in public safety, and back when they had the first, well, the only, knock on wood, bombing with the Boston City Marathon,
Yes.
a few years later, they had robot dogs running with them that are ahead of them that could smell and detect danger. And I mean, that's been what, 20? It's been a long time. So yeah, the technology's come a long way.
And I don't, you know, it's that whole thing with technology. Can we trust the humans to use it properly?
No.
Sure. A dog that runs around and a robot dog that's just sniffing for bombs. All right, I'm good with that. I have no problem with that. But as soon as someone says, yeah, but it also,
if they would have had that back in like 95 for the Oklahoma City bombing, that would have saved a lot of people.
Right. So any kind of technology that's not, we're not using the dogs to control human beings, you know, to chase us or to hunt us or to control us. That's what I don't want to see.
Absolutely.
So when I hear about police departments in the United States or around the world going, hey, look at our exciting new robot dog, I'm always like, oh no.
Yeah. My buddy at the Secret Service, they're even terrified of it.
Right. How, you know, really, what could you do to stop a robot dog if it was built, you know, the way that they could build them with the kind of balance and strength?
Yeah. Well,
exactly, Chris. He says you cannot trust some humans to use anything properly.
Yeah. The military will probably figure out a anti-robot jammer or something.
Yeah, right.
And that's the problem. And you kind of touch on it there, kind of lightly, but it was enough to where you got it that we really don't want that, you know? So, yeah. And then we touched on a couple heavy things in the book too. Yeah,
I'm not super optimistic about the future right now. And so, you know, when I start, okay, we're going to write about the future. I think one thing that worries me that I'm focusing on in this series is the future for kids and their future beyond when they're kids, when they grow up, but how it seems like around the world, we're moving closer to child labor, closer to young men and women being treated as adults when they're not really, people, you know, pulling away safety nets that are helping young people grow and thrive. So Wyatt in Death Dog is, you know, 30 years down the line or so, really feeling the effects of that kind of societal change. And he's, you know, a kid who doesn't go to school, who works a job, who's living in a shed. He's got a hard life for a 13-year-old.
Yeah, no, I'm afraid you're right. You know, like I said, public safety for 30 some years. And I'm afraid you're right. They grow up way too fast. So and when they shouldn't.
Right.
So it's, So we'll get off the heavy stuff, but
Sorry.
you did well. I mean, no, you brought it in there, and I thought it was good. And you kind of had just the right amount of, like when the dog come and bit his arm, our hand off. I was like, ha, on point. Can we do that today?
Yeah. Thank you. The balance between entertainment and making points, or making jokes and making points, is always like, you don't want to tip too far to one or the other, unless you're just going for laughs, which I'm not here. It's not meant to be all laughs.
No, it's a serious story. I love it. Number 2's coming out in another 3-4 weeks.
Yeah,
like
first Wednesday of December, which I think is the 3rd of December.
Oh, that's not that far.
No.
Yeah. So it's approaching, and
Yeah,
it's a
that's
true
like-
issue. Is that right?
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks. It's a 2-issue launch. If people are interested, then Hoy and I both want to do more, so that's the plan. And unusual for comics to do a 2-issue launch, but it kind of worked out. I tell it's sort of like a pilot for a television show, I would say. And when you get to the end of issue 2, you kind of got the world and what kind of the table setting is for the future of the series.
The
I
lay
think
of
I'm
the
gonna have
land.
to order this book because my son's birthday is on the 1st.
That's great.
Yeah, it's in my Kindle list already. So
Thank you. Well, that will help it continue.
yeah, well, see, that's one thing I hate about it. You'll fall in love with a comic and then it's gone.
Yeah.
So
and especially now, the industry's really struggling with the Diamond distributor issues. I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but luckily Ahoy is a little bit separate from that, because they weren't heavily involved with Diamond, and so we're still at least able to get our books into the stores and stuff regularly without delays. A lot of the other companies, including like Marvel, are dealing with like problems getting their books in the stores regularly.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people think that the comic books are dead, which I think is totally wrong. I think it's just like anything else. They've morphed, they've evolved.
Mm-hmm.
You can always download a Kindle, but it's never going to beat having I'm old school, a comic,
For sure.
So,
yeah,
and the art has gotten so much better. So it's
incredibly,
impressive.
I grew up reading comics, and I loved the graphics, the art when I was growing up, but to compare the average comic from, say, the 80s to the average comic art now it's a quantum leap. I mean, these are extremely talented artists that are working in the field now, and painters as well, that fully paint books. It's really cool.
On my daytime show, today's the anniversary of the first Rocky and Bullwinkle that was put out. And we were talking about that, and the creator hated it because the one frame, the antlers would be off, their tie would be gone, and he hated it. And I was like, man, that's like, he's talking about it like the original Simpsons. They were like,
yeah, I'm Tracy Ullman style. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
he was watching fast claymations.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, growing up, I didn't notice because there wasn't that much great animation, certainly not on television. But yeah, it is primitive when you think back to Rocky and Bullwinkle, at least in the animation, not in the writing.
No, they were legends in that. So,
yeah,
but
brilliant.
Yeah. And so growing up, who did you read? Who did you well, let's see. I don't know where this. Who did you read and like the most, but who do you really want to pattern yourself after?
Well, I mean, when I was a teenager, Alan Moore hit, like, I was already reading Swamp Thing and kind of like, should I keep reading this comic? I don't know if I like it. And then this new writer took over, and I mean, it changed who I am, his writing, like, I didn't care at all about ecology or taking care of the planet. After I read Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing, 4 or 5 years later, I was like, hey, we need to take care of the planet. So I mean, he's got to be my number one because of that. I still read his novels and stuff he's putting out and love them. So I read everything he wrote when it came out. In sort of the more like standard comics, my favorite guy was John Byrne. I loved his Fantastic Four and Alpha Flight. I read, as I got older and started reading independent comics, I read a lot of Dark Horse. Paul Chadwick's Concrete was one of my favorite books ever. Still love it to this day. Flaming Carrot, you know, I love absurdism, so I read a lot of Flaming Carrot. But I would say probably, other than Alan Moore, John Byrne was probably the most formative, like person that I like. His art combined with his writing really got to me in that period in the 80s. You know, my interest in him faded over time, but that period I loved his work, the X-Men as well. And then, yeah, it sounds pretentious to say, oh, I want to write like Alan Moore. I don't think I'm Alan Moore, and I don't have the like a billion word vocabulary, and I didn't grow up in England, you know, and I'm not him. But as far as taking it seriously and thinking deeply about things and not going, it's just a comic book or it's just a job, you know, like I really I get a lot of inspiration from him. I was really into Grant Morrison too, and still love Grant Morrison. And one of the coolest things that's happened to me in my short career was like, we did a thing at Ahoy for our 5th anniversary where we did one of those things where one writer writes the first chapter, another writer writes the second chapter. Cool. And Grant Morrison wrote the first chapter, and I got to write the second chapter, which was like a dream come true to kind of collaborate with Grant Morrison, who his Doom Patrol in the 90s was probably my favorite comic book in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I answered your question very well. Or
no, you did. You did. But well, as what I can tell from your writing style with this, you do mix a lot of serious, but here's a little side humor. So you do kick that in, and I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, you know, it can be it's entertainment. Not all art is entertainment, right? But I am, you know, Ahoy, we're trying to put out entertainment. We're not trying to just make people feel terrible. so yeah, it's definitely a balance. But I some of my favorite media has that balance. You know, like the films of the Coen brothers or Martin Scorsese. They have that same. Oh, this is hilarious. Oh my God, this is scary and impactful. Yeah. Right next to each other. And yeah, if I can evoke that kind of style, I'm happy to try.
When you were growing up, did you always say, I want to write comics, or did
originally I wanted to be an actor. I lived in LA for a long time, and I moved to LA for that reason and did some acting, little parts, and couldn't really make a living at it. So then started to focus on writing, and originally was working more on trying to get into screenwriting, and saw that it was very difficult, found it very difficult to break in. And I already loved comics, and one of my mentors was like, you should try comics. So that's kind of what happened. I just kind of shifted my writing exercises over from practicing screenwriting to practicing writing a very different style, right? Where, like I said, everything's like snapshots, and it requires a different muscle. But it's been great. And I guess I could say I've always wanted to be a writer, but there was definitely a point in my life where I wanted to be an actor more. And I think that's part of just like being in your like 20s and like, you know,
that's a little niche, and it's hard to get into. So.
Very hard. And, you know, it's so fun, you know, like some of the most fun I ever had was on TV and movie sets, but it wasn't easy to get those jobs, and I wasn't making a living.
No. Well, even just, I know that you probably don't care, but here in Atlanta, there's a lot of movie sets.
Oh, yeah.
And just to work on a set or TV show production set as a paramedic, you wouldn't believe the competition.
Oh, I'll bet.
I mean, you know, and I've just done it fill-in for people. I've never taken it serious, But you come home at the end of the day and they're like, oh, here's a check for $600. Like, wait, what?
Yes, they pay very well.
And they feed you.
They feed you well, usually. Yeah. And, you're if you're in front of the camera, you're basically playing a game and getting paid really well. And people are like kind of waiting on you and coming over and putting, makeup on you and stuff. You can see why people lose their minds and like their egos.
One of the guys at the fire department was on duty at his part-time job, and they were filming The Walking Dead. And gosh, I can't remember her character. The tall black character, female.
Oh,
Michonne. Yes. She was walking through like some high grass for a scene, and there was a snake, and it freaked her out. So they were like, well, we don't know what to do. So they went to the fire station, because if anybody wants to solve a problem, they call the fire department.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I could come out. I'm a snake expert. He said, I could come out tomorrow and I'll take care. He literally had a fat person's picker upper in a 5-gallon bucket. I'm like, how in the hell? But she was his personal snake person. How in the hell did you fall into that?
That's a great story.
So, and it's true. It's true.
No, that's well, yeah. And I believe 100% that a Hollywood production would be like, oh, thank God, we found a snake expert. He said he's a snake expert. Hire him.
And yeah, he's like BSing his way through it. Like, oh my God. And everybody trusts the fireman. Don't.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and then a few times I've been on set, and I don't know all their names, PAs and the people below the PAs. I've been called back and been like, hey, can you fill in on set? I'm like, oh yeah, you just need me to be a medic. And they're like, no, we need you on camera to play a medic. I'm like, well, it can't be that hard.
Yeah, no, you know how to be a medic, right?
Yeah, okay. You're going to blow something up. I'm going to run some people away from it. I got it. Check.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, yeah. I know. I see the little Georgia peach at the end of all the shows and things I watch. I know. Or not the Georgia peach. Yeah, it's Georgia and Atlanta, both. Like, Georgia as a whole and Atlanta, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, DC, Marvel, I don't know who their bigger companies are down there, but yeah, they've got whole sets, and it's impressive. We had to go inspect, we're getting sidetracked here, but they built a tank indoors to look like a ocean. And as the fire department, it was in our area where we, our station was. We had to go inspect it to make sure that it wasn't going to burst and flood everybody. And the sergeant's like, you know anything about this? I'm like, no. He goes, call the fire marshal. He's like, I got no clue. He's like, just go walk around it, and if you see any leaks, tell them it's bad. Once again, trust the fireman.
Another example, right? Yeah.
So yeah. And then at the end of it, they actually called us back. They did blow it up.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's nice.
We got to hang around for that. But it's like, oh yeah. Sometimes you just kind of fall into things, but it is funny. But that's the way life is. And as you were talking about with comics, you just kind of find something you like. Yeah. Now, you're at home with Ahoy. Are you planning on doing other, like a different comic, or how's that?
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. Do they have you do just one, or can you do multiple?
Sure. I could do as many as I want. There are exclusive contracts, but they're usually with Marvel or DC. Like Ahoy or companies like that generally don't do exclusive contracts with their talent. So yeah, I mean, I've worked for another company called Dynamite, doing some stuff with the character Red Sonja. And I have some things I can't talk about with other companies that may be about to happen. Yeah. Cool. And hopefully more with Ahoy. I did a whole humor series at Ahoy for 15 issues over the last several years called My Bad, which was sort of it's sort of the tone of, if you know What We Do in the Shadows, the vampire movie or vampire TV series that is like comedy, right? It's like there, it's like Seinfeld with craziness. So we did that with superheroes at Ahoy, wacky superheroes. Like one of them is called Rush Hour. He's the world's #1 traffic-based superhero. and he flies around and helps people with traffic, spanks tailgaters, pulls them out of their cars and spanks them and stuff.
We need
He's
more of
best
that.
friends with a kind of inept supervillain called Emperor King. They have a chimp they hang out with called Acid Chimp, who the supervillain trained to throw acid on people, but then they realized that was a bad idea, so they're constantly trying to stop the chimp from throwing acid at people, but the chimp always is able
Of
to find
course it's a
acid somehow.
bad idea.
On and on and on. And yeah, so that was really fun. We hope we could do some more someday, but we got 15 of them out, which is not bad in today's comic book industry.
I was gonna say, short of like the big names, what is an average run?
These days, 5 issues, maybe 10 issues if you're lucky. And even at the big companies, like I'm really good friends with Mark Russell. I've worked with him. We've co-written some things together, and he's a good friend of mine. And he's a big writer at Marvel and DC. And he did an X-Men book called X Factor. It was popular. People liked it. It lasted 10 issues. I can't tell you how they make these decisions at some of these companies.
Marvel's owned by Disney, so I don't know.
Yeah, and that's probably it. You know, it's like, well, this isn't the IP we're interested in promoting right now.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of Marvel, so.
You know, I love the characters, but I can't say a lot for. Well, I should probably be quiet if I ever want to work for them.
Yeah.
It'd probably be good
We
for my
got like
career to
2
work with
people
them,
watching. You're okay. So,
but I hear what you're saying, Harley.
now,
I'm a DC fan, so.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
And
it's fine.
DC, honestly, is a really good company and really good people work there. And
Yeah.
Great characters.
Yeah. We are live in Australia. How do you have you ever worked overseas? How does the comic market work in other places as opposed to here?
Yeah. I had a handshake deal with a French company called Humanoids, but they just went out of business due to the chaos caused by the distributor issue with Diamond. So that's not going to happen. But yeah, there's companies all over the world, and comics are published all over the world. And if in a place like Australia where they speak English, you know, we can just ship our stuff over there. And so, yeah, we're definitely available. And then if things get popular, they translate like to other languages. So yeah, it's absolutely an international field. And Japan, of course, you know, manga is huge, right? Like I would love to.
My daughter is obsessed with manga.
Yeah.
Well, they are obsessed with it. And so, yeah, I have no clue about it.
It's probably the most popular kind of comic book with young people now is Japanese manga.
Wow. Yeah, well, the best I know is like Ultraman, Speed Racer.
Yeah, right. That's my era too. I used to watch Ultraman.
Yeah.
But you know, there's great manga.
Bring him back to kill him.
Sorry, what was that?
Marvel's actually going to bring him back to kill him.
Oh, of course. That sounds like
makes perfect sense.
Yeah. You know, there's always been great manga. I highly recommend Lone Wolf and Cub, which they made into a series of movies in the 70s. But Lone Wolf and Cub is a fantastic comic book series. You know, the samurai who's got a son on his back and has to protect his son while he tries to exact revenge on the people who killed his wife and all his other friends.
I got into the Transformers because the comic book shop in Alexandria, Virginia had the big European copies. 8.5 by 11, and that's how I got into Transformers, and I was hooked after that, and I would buy everything that was Transformers comic wise. And so yeah, I like that. But
I do like the big sizes. Those big sizes are great.
My 21-year-old daughter has been into Japanese anime since she was 3.
Wow.
Because her and her stepdad used to watch Inuyasha when I was pregnant with her brother. So they'd watch Inuyasha together.
And it stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to turn my nieces on to like Miyazaki and some of the best anime.
I was going to say, now what do you recommend for cartoons for kids? Obviously the Magna, but
You mean comics or?
yeah. Well, animated on TV and then as comics as well. I mean, aside from
Recommend
those.
for kids. That's a good question. And I don't know that I have a great answer of what I would recommend for kids in the world of like TV animation or something. Because
A lot of it is not very little kid appropriate. Like Inuyasha really
That's
was
the problem.
not appropriate for her to be watching.
Yeah, this is
At
what the
3.
kids I know. I work in a middle school as well. So the kids I talk to, they're like into like Demon Slayer and stuff like that. Well, I can't say that I recommend that for kids,
Well,
If they don't like kids, they might not be allowed to watch it, I don't know.
my daughter likes the Black Butler and something Academy. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, the Hero Academia?
Yeah.
My Hero Academia. Yeah. That's very popular too. The Superhero Academy stories.
I guess I would result to my grandchild now. I would probably just go back to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
My 13-year-old is obsessed with Spider-Man. Nothing is wrong with Spider-Man.
No.
The newest Spider-Man cartoon, which I have not seen, has people say is fantastic and great for kids, and it gets rave reviews. I mean, the Miles Morales, the 2 Miles Morales movies, if we're going to talk Spider-Man, the Into the Spider-Verse movies, those are very well done. And I love them.
I mean, I liked the Harley Quinn series that was on HBO.
Not for
Harley
kids.
Quinn it's not for kids, but still.
Yeah, I know
I'm still
lots of
traumatized
cartoons
about
that
what
I
they
like
did with
that I
Velma.
can't recommend to kids.
I mean, cartoons are not like they were when we were younger.
No.
Not at all. They were they weren't really appropriate then either.
Yeah, that's the problem. We were tainted.
Started all this.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
if you
why
heard
we
me
watch
that.
cartoons like we do now. Let's see, The Simpsons and King of the
Yeah.
Hill and
Yeah.
Futurama and
Mhm.
South
Love
Park.
'em all.
South Park really messed with us.
Yeah, South Park still to this day is messing with them.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if you heard me, but I'm still traumatized about what they did with Velma. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, I was like, what is this?
Yes, so true.
My wife is like, are we gonna watch this? And I'm like, yeah, no. And then when you're gone, yes.
Yeah, sometimes they take some big swings with these legacy characters, and they're a little strange.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. It's got a niche, but I don't know that I don't know.
It just doesn't feel like anything that's connected to the Scooby-Doo that I.
Exactly. So now, have you ever thought about, being that you were screen writer, trying to get something from the comic book up to the screen? That would be a huge step, I would assume.
Absolutely, would love that. It's a good possibility. I mean, a lot of the industry now, honestly, is kind of pointed that direction. Like, we're going to publish these things, but we hope that they get picked up by Hollywood. Is kind of the open secret about a lot of the comic book industry now. So yeah, at a company like Ahoy, like when I signed my contract, like I own Death Dog, and I own like the rights to it. If I wanted to go somewhere else with Death Dog and do it in another company, I could. But Ahoy would retain their percentage, like, of the future media rights or whatever. And that's what most companies do now. That's how they kind of hedge their bets or try to invest in the future. I would love to do it. I would love to be lucky enough to write it if any of my stuff got adapted. And that's possible. My friend Mark Russell is currently working on a couple different projects with Hollywood, and they are letting him script his adaptations of his own work. So
that's cool.
It can happen. Yeah. I would love that.
Yeah, that would be cool. And I also found it fascinating. I've had it interviewed a couple different authors. And like you said, I think some of it is like they're doing screenwriting to try and get to like Marvel or something, then to jump to Disney, and to make that jump. But I've also found, oddly enough, there's a few that make the jump to writing for WWE or WWF, whatever the wrestling.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't know that. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's writing, right? And I, I grew up watching wrestling. I wouldn't mind writing some wrestling. That would be probably
I
pretty
still watch wrestling. What are you talking about? It's like Saturday night is War Games.
My brother is just like you, Harley. Whenever I visit him, we watch some wrestling because he loves watching it.
They'll be in Ohio in February, and I'm planning on going to it.
Yeah, no, my brother, when they come here to Portland, Oregon, my brother usually buys us tickets and I go with him. So yeah. I'm still a little in touch with wrestling.
They're fun.
They are.
And I guess I haven't gotten into it since I think you kind of hop in.
You need to watch War Games Saturday. AJ Lee's wrestling.
Oh, I could do AJ Lee. Well, no, whoa, wait a minute, that sounded wrong. I don't want to get beat up by her husband. but yeah, it's oddly enough, I've heard that from a couple people. They're like, well, we can go over here and write because this is somehow like writing comic books. And I'm like, well, how does that transfer? And they're like,
it's all scripts. Wrestling is like soap operas. It really is just a different form of it.
It's more melodrama, but it's still
soap operas for men.
Yeah, I would agree.
Except I think nowadays more women watch wrestling than men do, but that's just a different story.
There's a lot of women in the crowd when I go with my brother. Yeah.
They're there for the muscles. So.
Actually, they're there for Rhea Ripley.
I have no idea who that is. So
I'm guessing it's a woman who's a wrestler.
When we would show up on a call at the fire department, they're like, "Where are the guys in the calendar?" They're just. Well, let's swing over to the paranormal world for a minute.
Okay.
You've written some paranormal stuff.
I have. Yeah. I used to publish a book all about cryptids. So I did some cryptid stories that were fun. I really enjoyed writing about the Loveland Frogman. Are you familiar with that cryptid? Yeah. So
oddly enough, yes.
I was not prior to like Ahoy said, "Hey, we're doing this cryptid project. Pitch some cryptid stories to us." And so I start going, well, what are some obscure cryptids? Because of course, all the first people started grabbing up Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and stuff. I wasn't the first person they asked. So I had to dig a little deeper. And when I saw that the Loveland Frogman could take sticks and manipulate electricity and like make little lightning bolts, I was like, all right, this is too cool. Like a 4 foot tall anthropomorphic frog with lightning sticks. And so I wrote a story where he's like the protector of Loveland, Ohio. And he helps people all the time. But there's this guy who's having a hard life, and he's like, why doesn't the Frogman ever help me? And so he takes upon himself that he's going to hunt down the Frogman, kill him, and sell his body to science. And so it's a story about this bitter man, hunting the Loveland Frogman, who is nothing but a protector of the community, and sort of like, how he comes to see the error in his ways. So that was super fun. And I also did one.
That's what most Bigfoot people do. They end up going down the rabbit hole, and then they're like, well, I got to prove this. And they spend their whole life trying to.
Yeah. And and I love Bigfoot, by the way. I would have definitely written some Bigfoot stories if other people hadn't stolen that from me. And I did one about Capelobo, which is a Brazilian cryptid that's got like the head of an anteater, like the body of a 7 foot tall man, hooved feet, and this is what sold me on this one, can transform into a tapir, like those piggy looking things that eat leaves and stuff. Yeah. And it's like this terrifying brain eating, like it uses its anteater snout to like suck your brains out and your blood out and kill you, but it can also turn into a cute little tapir. So I wrote a story about that one too. And yeah, I wish Ahoy was still doing the cryptid book, because it's so much fun to write monster stories. I've written in other Ahoy stuff. I've written werewolves and mummies, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, we had I think it was Bigfoot Detective, and
Yeah.
yeah, he was talking. One of the things that fascinated me the most about it, how the Bigfoot went into a tree and could move from any tree to any tree in the tree. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Oh wow, that is cool.
That's kind of cool. So yeah,
He was an autistic teenager who wrote this.
And he was also
yeah,
a
he
Bigfoot.
was,
Yeah, he was
still coming
autistic
in,
and he
yeah.
was a teenager who did this.
Well,
Yeah, he was still
I know a
doing it.
lot of young people with autism, and
I'm autistic, and all three of my kids and my daughter is autistic. So
so you know that people with autism are often capable of some hyper focus and can really get good at things and learn about things and become experts. So
my middle son is hyper focused on weather,
Mm.
and he'll be 15 here really soon. And he wants to be a storm chasing meteorologist since kindergarten.
wow, that's so cool. Be careful. Tell him to be careful.
He grew up in Oklahoma, so
Oh, so they know the territory.
Yeah. Well, have you had any experiences in real life with the paranormal?
I was warned that you're going to ask me this, and I
Studied.
wish I had some incredible story for you. Like, I mean, I live in the Northwest. When I was a kid, like if we drove through the woods, I was looking for Bigfoot. Like, and we drove through a lot of woods growing up in Oregon.
well,
I
up
was
here
always like,
in the Northwest, there's a
Yeah.
lot of trees.
no, yeah, but I never saw Bigfoot. So the only thing that I experienced was a UFO kind of thing. So when I was about 14 or 15, I was just in the middle of the night looking out my bedroom window, and it was like a snake, but undulating, but all lit up. The whole snake, I guess you would call it body, moving across the sky, changing directions. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anyone describe anything like it. I wasn't, I was a very straight-laced kid. I wasn't like drunk or, smoking weed or anything. I was 100% sober, just looking out my window at the stars, and saw this bizarre thing that kind of scared me, and kind of like I ran and told, my family, and it was gone. So I know that's not the most incredible story, but that's my one thing that I could never explain right in my life. I've always been like, what the heck was that?
Well, that's so with using that, have you ever incorporated any of that into your storyline? That's
that actual experience.
Yeah,
I haven't. That's not a bad idea to play around with something like that, and then maybe figure out what it was, right? In the story.
That's half the fun of science fiction,
It sure is. That's a good idea, Glenn.
Hey, I want at least 1% credit. Okay, how about this? Just send me a T-shirt and a free comic. Oh, that'll work.
It's a
I'm
deal.
cheap.
I would happily send you a comic. If I had a T-shirt, I'd send that too.
Well, I mean,
Ahoy made me pay for this. Ahoy didn't give this to me. I don't want to start a scandal here, but I paid for this.
Well, it's like Sam before us was saying, we pay our dues. He does stealth camping, and he goes out camps
in
out,
Ohio. He
lots.
does stealth camping in the winter.
Wow. I heard the term when I was waiting to come on. I heard stealth camping, and I did not know what that referred to.
Yeah, it's a whole genre on YouTube, and
yeah, he's done it on McDonald's roof and on Starbucks roof and Walmart's bathrooms.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, so
reclaiming public spaces. It's like sort of like camping Banksy or something. I like that.
Yeah. Joseph,
that's
you missed
that movie. Where's Northwest Wind? We had him for an hour, and he was the first half of the show.
That's right.
Cool.
Yeah, he does weird things like so. There's a genre for everything,
There is. There is.
But as he was saying, when they get camping gear or something, they pay it forward, you know, to do a show. So it's the same with that. So being a content creator is hard in this world.
Sure is. You know,
Yeah. But no, I like, you could make some with that. What do you think about now the talk is of this 3-eye atlas, you know, the comet that's in space.
That was behind the sun. Yeah.
And now they're like, well, it could be alien, but we don't know. It's like, how the hell do you not know? We went to the moon in the 60s. How do you not know?
Yeah, it's that's scary to think about how much we don't know about the universe, and I guess this is such, you know, a object that's so far outside of our solar system, right, that they're kind of confused by it. I've been following it like regularly, like reading articles about it. The last one I read, they were speculating that perhaps it had blown up.
Yeah, it was supposed to sublimate, which is basically dirty snowball, heats up, it booms, but it didn't do that.
So now they have confirmed that it's reemerged from the sun?
Yes.
Wow,
and the latest thing is they say it has 9 jets off the side, but that's normal because it's the off-gassing from the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you just said jets.
Yes. No, so. I've been fascinated by that. And, you know, going on like the Futurist website or whatever is like writing, you know, it's like writing field work, you know, it's like, okay, what kind of ideas, what kind of things are going on? Like, oh, there's a strange comet or maybe not comet that's going behind the sun. I mean, there's a lot of fodder for stories and those kinds of things. And, you know, I wrote, you know, years ago when the first autonomous vehicles were starting to pop up on the roads, you know, I wrote a whole story about that because it's like, oh, I'm fascinated by this idea. Like, you know, hasn't gone that far in most cities, but like if you're in Los Angeles now, it's kind of just a standard thing to see these autonomous Waymos driving around. So I love reading about whatever's going on the cutting edge.
Yeah. And I don't think, well, I think we would actually be arrogant to think we're the only ones in the universe because mathematically we know a speck of dust compared to everything. So I think we'd be foolish to. But what
I would bet that we are not alone.
No,
not even close.
No. And they're probably driving by going, they smell funny and they're pretty dumb.
Yes. Have either of you seen the Plurbius, the new show Plurbius?
Mm-mm.
It's a fantastic new show that's on Apple. And the premise is some aliens communicate with Earth. What they communicate to us causes some real issues on our planet.
Oh, Glenn, don't do Apple.
No, I do. I've got an iPad. I'll pay for Apple TV. So
I have Apple TV. You can use mine.
Yeah, I highly recommend Plurbius. It's great sci-fi.
Okay, I will check it out. I'm always up for something new. And before we let you get out of here, what new do you have coming up? Obviously, number 2 is coming out in, you said 2 weeks.
Yep.
What's after that?
After that are a couple of projects that I hope I can announce soon. One of them is creator owned, like my own thing. The other one is another like legacy character from the media that a company other than Ahoy works with. I've been doing some writing at Ahoy. Ahoy's got the Toxic Avenger license from those old movies and the new movie with Peter Dinklage. And so I've been doing some of that. So some of that's coming out in collected form soon. That's kind of like By Death Dog, Toxic Avenger, My Bad, the series that I was talking about earlier. There's 3 collected volumes. Project Cryptid, which we've been talking about, collected volumes of that available all kinds of places. But right now it's Death Dog, and hopefully I can talk next time I come on. I can talk about some of the other things that are about to be announced.
Absolutely, we want you back. I mean, the hour went by quick, so but yeah, we want you back, and maybe you'll have some cryptid encounters between now and then. So
I hope so. I mean, I've spent most of my life in the Northwest, and I need to see a Bigfoot.
It's funny. I went to visit some family out there, and I mentioned, Bigfoot, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he exists." And we're driving around, and there's like Bigfoot signs, Bigfoot, everything was Bigfoot. I was like, "What the
statues?" Like literally here in Portland, there's 4 or 5 Bigfoot statues, and in Washington, Seattle area, there's more of them. We love.
And
Bigfoot.
here they look at you like you're silly. They're like, "What's wrong? Brain damage."
I mean, there's so many wild places and so many woods here. It's easy to believe, right? It's easy to believe that there could be those guys running around out there.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at
he's into the whole Bigfoot.
Yeah,
thing.
Bigfoot's my jam.
Mine's the whole possessed dolls.
No.
Well, my sister-in-law
Annabelle
looks possessed.
No.
My sister-in-law has a little old one of those porcelain doll type dolls.
Those ones are the scariest ones of them all. And why would you want a porcelain?
Her kids are all scared of it. They try to hide it, put it in the closet and stuff because they don't want to look at it.
Even worse, in my house, the Raggedy Ann doll is not allowed in the house because that is the original Annabelle doll. No, I'm good.
No.
And then the Robert doll, that's even more possessed than Annabelle.
Yeah.
Nope. Your house is haunted, Andrew. Well,
come on the show.
Maybe you should smudge it with
sage.
We've
had people that
but
come in and have all kinds of stories about that stuff. So yeah. And we've had people come on and talk to us about aliens and some encounters, and some people say, "Oh, it's crazy stuff," but they seem pretty genuine people to me. So I don't know. I'm not one to judge. So
well, like you said about the arrogance of thinking that we understand the whole universe and what's possible in it. We don't even understand our own planet that well. And
no, we don't even know what's under the ocean, really.
Exactly. So
it's crazy. So
yeah. So we need to be less arrogant about those kind of things.
Absolutely. All right, Bryce. Well, I'm going to hold you to that. When you get your next thing coming up, I'm going to hold you to it. You got to come back and visit with us and tell us about it.
And tell them where they can find your books at.
Yeah. Death Dog, you're going to find at any good comic book store. There are comic book stores that won't order from, the smaller companies. So I can't guarantee it's at every store. But once these things get collected, then they're easy to find. They're, in Barnes and Nobles, and they're online and all kinds of stores. And of course, if you're not like Glenn and I, and you're okay with reading digital comics, these are available digitally for people to download to their iPads at the Amazon comic book store, whatever they call it these days.
All right.
Audible.
Yeah, they kind of pulled it all
Kindle.
together, right? On the Kindle. I think it's all one thing.
Yeah.
It used to be called Comixology, but I don't think they call it that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, Bryce, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And hopefully you'll get some followers in Australia now that we got you turned on over there. So
I'd love it.
All right, man. Have a great night, and definitely keep up with me. You got my email. Let me know when you get the next one going. So
okay.
We will see you soon.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Harley.
Thank you. You were the one that gave us your time tonight. Thank you, sir. So have a good evening.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Andrew said he saw a UFO 8 years ago as well.
Oh, well, he needs to come on and tell us about it. So
I think it's my friend Andrew.
Well,
yes, it is my friend Andrew.
Tell your friend
my little brother.
Oh, well, tell him to come over to the Sportcat shows, because we need you to come over and hit that subscribe button and help us out. All right, Harley, you got anything else going on? We're about out of time tonight.
Well, Sunday we have 23 horror stories of Thanksgiving. We're going to tell you, well, it's 14 horrific stories of Thanksgiving, of people who's had horrific Thanksgiving stories. We figured we'd do that, considering, well, next week is Thanksgiving. Why not?
Yeah, it's the holiday, so yeah, why not? Let's see. I don't know if I got anything. I don't think we have a show scheduled next week. We'll have to look and see. But I just looked and didn't see anybody in the lineup. I want to thank everybody.
That's the day before Thanksgiving, so probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I want to thank everybody at Dare Media for allowing us to tickle your ears. And of course, we appreciate everybody on Pine Island FM for tuning in. And I humbly request that you come over to YouTube and find me and click that subscribe button. We are so close to monetization. It would be most helpful. And I will be back on the Thin Line Rock Station, noon Eastern tomorrow, spinning the records, playing some hits. And then after that, I have the Sportcat Daily Gazette from 2 to 4, where we talk weirdness, and there's plenty of weird news. So come catch me over there, and I will see you guys and gals later.
Bye.
Bye. And, so give you a heads up. We're going to kill the radio first, but we'll have to come back to YouTube. Complicated. And we are clear of the radio, and we're still live on YouTube. I want to thank everybody for hanging out the extra 2 minutes. The studio is still acting up, so hold on tight, Harley. This is going to hurt. Well, no, it's not. I got to push.
It's the Harley Show.
Yeah, now I can end the show. It's the weirdest thing. Everybody have a great night. Please come over and subscribe. We appreciate it.